What up, familia? Is your favorite Puerto Rican Brooklyn Philly here with a message. I've already sprayed to protect my energy and prayed. And I'm going to give this disclaimer right up front. This is a trigger warning, right? I am definitely tapping into inner childhood, possible trauma for some. And yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to jump in. So, what I channeled so far was part of me is self sabotaging my own success, my power, my passion, my anger, my fire, my creativity, for fear of attack, rejection, and ultimate abandonment. So, there's definitely here a message about literally a fear of success, right? A fear of being seen and being held in power, right? Exerting your power, standing in your power. What do I mean? So, for whoever this message resonates with, it is about somewhere along the line in your life you were told or demonstrated or experienced some type of event, some situation, some individual in your life that told you, showed you, abandoned you, rejected you, attacked you somehow for standing in your power. Whenever you stood in your power, whether it was via a gift, creative endeavor, passion, something that made you fiery or expressive in some way, whomever this individual, this family, this community, this situation was, they were intimidated and did not know how to receive that sense of power, that confidence, that fire, that creativity, that gift. And as a result of not knowing how to receive it, of being possibly intimidated by it, not knowing how to handle it, for an array of reasons, right? I'm hearing maybe if it was a parental figure like your mother, your father, they felt your sense of creativity and self-expression attracted too much attention, and that attention could bring other unwanted behaviors or situations, maybe not only to them but to you as the child. If it was around a person who may have been jealous, they didn't want you to shine, outshine them, outshine their children. Again, it can be multiple scenarios, multiple situations, but nevertheless, somewhere along the line, you correlated standing in power and in success with attack, rejection, and even the ultimate, I'm hearing for you, abandonment, right? When you stood in your power, then you became an easy target, I'm hearing, for people to attack you because they were intimidated, jealous, or saw. And what you did was then, instead of continuing to operate in places and spaces with that sense of power, you became, I'm hearing, aloof, withdrawn, timid. Some of you became shy, and some of you even would be described or characterized as scary or hermit and recluse, for fear of standing in your power and then experiencing that. So you kowtow, you people please, you act weak, act defenseless, whether it's weak-minded, weak-willed, weak whatever, timid, because you feel, if I withdraw that way, if I act weak, if I act that way, then I don't pose as a weapon to this individual, to this community, to this entity, to this space. Maybe it's at jobs now. It's translating in different ways into your life. It's pouring into your relationships, your career spaces, And if you're wondering why you're not advancing or moving forward in life the way you believe you know you can, because there's something about you that doesn't allow you to settle for that situation. You understand very much so, and you have always understood from a very young age that there was this something right within you that screamed more, but somewhere along the line it got quashed, I'm hearing. And it was out of fear of, right? Because when you're the one empowered, Joseph, and you tell the others your dreams and show them your confidence, your own brothers will throw you in the pit. What am I saying? So for those of you who are familiar with the Christian canon and any of the Abrahamic faiths, you've heard of the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, or Joseph, right, where he came back and he told his brothers and his father his dream, and as a result they became jealous and they threw him in the pit, and then came back and told his father, after they dipped his coat in sheep's blood, that he was attacked by a wolf and killed. But they literally threw him in a pit. Then after throwing him in a pit and telling the father that that's what happened, and while the father's mourning, they went ahead and sold him to a caravan, which is a moving caravan, and he became enslaved in Potiphar's house, right, in Egypt. And then Potiphar hired him as his hand servant, and then some other stuff happened to Joseph in Potiphar's house. But the point is, you've experienced similar experiences that way, that whenever you outshined, and you weren't trying to outshine anyone, but whenever you stood in your authenticity and just shined bright like the diamond that you were, you, instead of, not to say that you didn't have some who would encourage you, but the majority of the predominant environment did not take kindly to that. If anything, they ostracized you, rejected you, attacked you, bullied you, and again, ultimate abandonment, right? Leaving you lonely and alone, feeling alone and isolated. And that was horrible. You didn't want to feel that way. So you learned how to mask and dumb down and cowtail and people please and act weaker than what you really were, just to fit in, just for fear of being rejected or even attacked, right? I'm hearing, and just that quick and away. But yes, so that's what the premise, and it took 8 minutes and 10 seconds to break that down. And then I was led to use this oracle deck as a guide to this specific video. And as a result, before I could even shuffle properly or prepare the deck, these 3 cards definitely wanted to make themselves known to me. So I'm going to place them back in the deck and shuffle live, and we'll see if they really want to come out, if they come out. But I thought that they were interesting because regarding this subject, what I heard was we're going to look at the context, right? Because context is important, right? And in order to understand the root of something, we have to look at it from its context, the environment, in order for it to provide clarity and give us a new sense of perspective. And it didn't necessarily, so to be honest, I think I saw clarity first, then perspective, and then it was the bottom of the deck energy, context. So, and then rediscovery, right? Rediscovery, right? Because as a result of doing these steps, and getting this new perspective, gaining some clarity that allows for a new perspective based on looking at things from, you know, looking at the context. You know, what is the surrounding environment, right? Where did the event occur? What was the environment, the community, the variables to it, right? You know, one of the things that they teach you in seminary is that when you're reading the Bible and we're like, you know, studying it, when we begin to look at the different scriptures, we're told to travel back to the time period. We're instructed to travel back to the time period which we or scholars have dated the material to come from, because it is important. It's very easy to misconstrue and misinterpret something or miss something key when we interpret that information that was written in, you know, 100 BC or AD, depend, you know, which part of the Bible you're looking at. But when and then we're trying to look at it from 2024 eyes. So it was very important that we understand what was the city, what was the community, who would the text be addressing at the time, who were the authors, you know, things of that nature. So we need to understand the context. It's very important, right, of a situation. So yeah, and it's for the purpose of rediscovery, right? And then I love the word "re" because it's one thing to discover something, but it's the clarion call I'm hearing is to rediscover, right? Yeah, and in order to rediscover, that means we have to address it again, go back to it and address it. Because one of the things I'm also hearing is, particularly as children, because we are children and our limited understanding and perspective and sense of clarity and even understanding of context is limited due to our age, due to our brain development, due to our motor skills, right? There's a whole array of things depending on what age you are that would then allow us to perceive, right, perception, a situation from one scope. However, when you then are an adult and have been through some things and learned some things, and you go back to that same event that you perceived one way as a child, thank you, Spirit, now I'm hearing, right? Whatever the event that occurred that has you self-sabotaging now, every time you're on the brink of standing in your full dominion and power, you're self-sabotaging because part of you really doesn't want to succeed, because you're correlating success with abandonment, with rejection, with attack, with bullying, right? Since you're making that correlation, as bad as you want to succeed, there is still this part of you subconsciously, right? The unconscious mind, Carl Jung is coming up, right? That unconscious personality is operating, and it is even though it's on an unconscious level, you're then acting out the very opposite of what you want. You want success, but you're sabotaging it because, again, there's a part of you that is correlating it with something negative. So we have to travel back to that time and space, you know. I know for me it's childhood, to where that first seed was planted and uprooted to create such a, I'm hearing misnomer, falsity, right? Because it's false, right? I can be successful. Successful people, yes, they are susceptible to attack and rejection and dislike and abandonment, right? But so are unsuccessful people. And even if you're subjected to someone disliking you, it doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. Even if you are subjected to someone abandoning you, that doesn't mean the end of the world, because although some may reject and attack and abandon, there's going to be also some that are going to love, accept, and protect, right? So is, I'm hearing it's CBT all over again. It's cognitive behavior. Sorry guys, I just took out my braids and this hair is whoof. I love it. I'm feeling very Leo, like Leo lioness, but CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, where we're instructed in that type of style of therapy to look at the thought, address it, and then replace it with, for me, I look at it, I identify it as false, then I identify what is the truth, and then begin to replace it, right? And then also another thing that I've learned, that instead of numbing, right, and escapism, which is no shot at nobody, is easier to do that. I know, I've been there and done it for years. But, when I'm thinking of, okay, if I speak up, then my heart starts fluttering, then that means I can get cussed out or rejected, or someone is not going to like me. But instead of running from that, I allow the emotion to play itself through all the way, because you begin to numb and try to escape, because you're trying to escape the outcome of what that would feel like. But I've noticed if you just feel it through, it doesn't end as bad as you think it is, and it's not as horrible as you think it is, and you are more stronger than what you think you are, and you are able to survive it, right? So I'm being told to shit. It was a moment in time in my job space where, when I became more self-expressive, I did have a group of women who came after me. And it felt horrible, yes, and it triggered me, and it brung up all of those, and it was like, you see, I knew it, blah, 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 right? Because when we're telling ourselves a story, we are like repeating it, right? Like, it's like almost inevitable. We keep continuing it to. But what I found out was that I was stronger than what I ever could imagine. I was able to properly and adequately address them and fight for my rights and do what I needed to do, and I won. And again, it didn't negate that I still had to go through the frustration and the stress that I had to go through to deal with the situation. But the point was that it didn't kill me. It wasn't as horrible. It's almost like the mind makes the event seem harder or more terrifying than what it is. I'll give you another example Spirit is saying. So I was just talking to a woman who was saying, I'm about to get shots in my foot because I have nerve damage, and they're going to numb it and do some other things, and I'm terrified. I think when they give me this shot, she told me jokingly, you'll hear me screaming wherever you are. That's how terrified I am of it. And then I told her, well, no, I got shots on my knee, and they do numb it, and the numbing serum works so fast that it was literally like a little pinch. But in her mind, she had exacerbated it, that it was going to be the most excruciating, horrible pain in the world. I have another person in my life who the same thing. They were going to go get a procedure, and they were like, oh, teeth done. And I'm like, oh my God, the teeth pulling is going to be the worst in the world. And, they were terrified. And I said, listen, I know, I get it. Before I got work done, I thought it was the most horrible thing, but I got it done. And I promise you, within 24 to 48 hours, you're not even feeling as bad as you are. Like, they would have to literally mess it up and do something wrong in order for it to. So there's something about not feeling the sensation all the way through, and the importance of doing that, right? So in order to, for this rediscovery to take, right, to really solidify itself. So it's going back and getting the full context, claiming a new perspective, getting the clarity that we need, right? But the bottom line is so that you can replace the thought and actually feel the emotion all the way through. I'm hearing this like muscle memory, right? A trainer told me when I go to the gym, he said, I'm going to put it at 80 now. And I'm like, I've never lifted 80. How am I? And he said, no, you don't even have to lift it all the way. If you can do one, great. But if you could do it halfway, great. we're just teaching the body and your muscles to kind of remember that, so that when the second time you come around, it won't be so hard. The muscle remembers it, and you'll be able to exert and do it, right? Okay. So, I was instructed. So I'll leave these oracle cards I'm hearing for the end. They just kind of, because I may need to, I'm hearing the ones who kind of come out at the end, we may need to read from the book for it or not, from it or not. Spirit may want that. I just want to thank my ancestors, spirit guides, and spirit right now for this beautiful message. We continue to ask for clarity, right? Particularly with this issue as to why am I afraid of success? Why do I tend to self-sabotage? Where, what is the root of this? And hopefully not just identify the root of it, but what we can do, right, to address it. And thank you, Spirit, ahead of time. Cut this deck 3 ways. And I felt led to kind of just go through it. Okay, that was really quickly and too many, Spirit. The cards like faith, gratitude show themselves. And I'm going to put them back. And I'm going to do this again. Spirit, can you give us one card? Let me start slow, please. And thank you. Appreciate that you want to get these messages to us. But can we get one card as to why we are self-sabotaging and or scared of success? Trying to get to the root causes. And they're saying I'm not asking the correct question. Enlightenment. And the first thing that struck me, I'm going to be honest, is that this is this child, right? So, you know, it's almost like that, you know, what I just heard is I will answer your questions, and I will answer them to your inner child. So I'm hearing really clearly right now, these are answers that your inner child needs. It may be inner teenager, whatever, you know, but this younger, whenever, because for everybody it's not younger, but wherever whatever timeline the message came in, this is what is about to be illuminated and enlightened. This is the aspect of yourself that you have to address. This, you know, I literally just envisioned, you know, myself talking to my inner child and specifically requesting to speak to that timeline of me. Bear with me, this is what I'm hearing, like kind of like the multiverse, right? Going back to that timeline, right? Traveling back to that age, that specific timeline as to where I developed that perception and correlated, made that correlation. Success means abandonment or rejection or attack, right? The best way to act then is to act like a people pleaser, coy, weak. Because if I'm weak, then I don't pose as a threat. And if I'm not posing as a threat, then there's no need to attack me, right? Where and what timeline? So I'm being asked, you're being asked to travel back. And you can do this, I'm hearing. You can tap into, we have the power to do this, to travel back to that timeline and address that aspect of you and request enlightenment, clarity, to get a new perspective on this issue so that you can no longer be subjected to it. This is what I'm saying. A spirit, ancestor, your higher self, if you don't believe in God and you're an atheist or something, my nose started itching. My ancestors are confirming. They are here and they're saying this is the truth. You have the ability to travel back to the point in time and to address that aspect of yourself have a conversation. I heard sit down, have a cup of tea. If it's a little kid, play tea time with them. Whatever you need to do to go back to that time and have this conversation and literally assure this aspect of you. And, you know, kind of like I'm hearing the way you would give advice to a friend, or if you have children and you're a parent, the way you would talk to your child, even if you're not a parent, but if you're an uncle, or aunt, a foster parent, whatever, the way you would give advice to a younger person with kindness and compassion and understanding. Sit down with that version of you and say, baby, let's talk. Now, I understand that you have this idea about this, right? And then proceed from there. But that is false, right? Because going back to what I didn't finish earlier, what I was going to say earlier is, as children, because we're children and we still have so much to grow and learn, right? And our brain isn't fully developed, you know, we'll see a situation from one perspective, and then when we get to be adults, we'll say, oh wow, I always looked at it that that's why so and so did that to me, or that's why that happened. But now that I'm adult, no, that wasn't why necessarily, right? It's just that I was a child and I thought the person just hated me or just was picking on me. Oh no, I come to find out that this person had mental health issues, or that, you know, this is how they treated everybody. But because I'm a child, you know, it's kind of like I'm hearing, thank you, Spirit, because I don't want to confuse people. It's kind of like the child who parents come to them and say, we're getting a divorce. And they hear, oh, I messed up my family. They're getting a divorce because of me. Right? Why does this child think that the parents getting a divorce is because of them? We don't know, you know, there's different reasons why, but that's the example Spirit is giving it to me. It's very similar to that. The child doesn't have enough brain development to make the distinction to know, no, these are two adults, that's their ish. They're getting divorced because they can't get along and maybe a whole bunch of other problems. It doesn't have anything to do with me. But the child still will believe that it does, because it doesn't know no better. So now this child grows up all of their life and even then gets into other relationships thinking there's something wrong with me. Well, why do you think that? Well, because long ago my parents didn't want me, you know, I broke them up. And you then as an adult begin to see how that like affected so many areas of your life. But now you're being asked to go back to that child and say the divorce was never your fault. And now you can believe it because you are an adult and you do have the common sense to know there's no way in the world I could have been the cause of this divorce. And I'm just giving that one as an example. Thank you, Spirit. Anything else that you want us to know to further clarify or further give us information or clarity into this aspect of why people may be scared of success, why they may be engaging in self-sabotage, and better yet, not just why, but how to correct it, right? We want to hear, and they are receptive to listening to information regarding this issue, because we want to get to the root, right? Because if we don't get to the root of it, we can't deal with it appropriately. Interesting. The second card to come out is mysticism. It's a beautiful card. I'm sorry, you know, I almost saw this as a flower upside down, the folds of petals. Interestingly enough, when I just thought of that, now I'm thinking of the white rose and the red rose. Now I'm hearing alchemy, right? Those doors are golden in that window. There's something there, something about a golden orb, golden arc, alchemy, golden light. I don't know now. I heard there's a secret society. Golden. There is a secret society called the Golden something. Maybe I just have to verify. Give me a second here. Knights of the Golden Circle. No, it's not that one. That one has to do with Civil War. The one I'm referring to has to do with tarot. And Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. I'm not crazy. I remember it. Yes, that's the one. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn is an occult group formed in England in the late 19th century. It was a magical order influenced by the Freemasons and occult Hermetic mysticism. The Freemasons are a famous secret society, and all three of the Golden Dawn founders were Freemasons. But I'm hearing "Don't Be Fooled" is not about Freemasons. It was dedicated to Renaissance forms of mystical alchemy and Kabbalah, as well as astrology, tarot, and yes, this was a Hermetic society. So wow, okay. Enlightenment and Hermetic society, this sense of mysticism. Spirit will tie it all in. I never doubt spirit. So if it's being brought up, it is for a reason. Now I'm being told, look up, give you the definition of mysticism. I mean, I know what it is. Belief that union with or absorption into deity or the absolute or the spiritual apprehension of knowledge inaccessible to the intellect may be attained through contemplation and self-surrender. Belief characterized by self-delusion or dreamy confusion of thought, especially when based on the assumption of occult qualities or mysterious agencies. Mysticism is popularly known as becoming one with God or the absolute. Altered state of consciousness. The experience of mystical union or direct communion with ultimate reality reported by mystics. And it can be reached through intuition or insight. I am telling you, there's something about that, and they're saying you can do it. This is what you need to, or similar, not to say that you have to go to the Golden Dawn or study that or whatever, but you know, I just heard he can be taught. Aladdin, right, from the genie, when he was talking to the genie, when he was talking about Aladdin, when he was explaining to, yes, when he was explaining to him how that lamp works and how the 3 wishes work and how him having a genie works, right before he goes into, or right after he sings, "You ain't never had a friend like me," right? That's the second time Aladdin comes out here, right? But what is Aladdin? You rub the genie, you get 3. It's mysticism. It's like this whole thing. But they're saying this is the way to tap into and address the subconscious part of you that self-sabotages and is scared of success because it correlates it with these negative connotations, right? One more, spirit. Interesting. Abundance. Interesting. Look at this picture. In this picture, you have 2 individuals, and this is what I'm saying. This is what they're talking about. This is how it's the multiverse and multi-layers and different dimensions they're saying, explain. Here, do you see this is this man and this is like his higher self? Look, this is this little girl. They both lost a coin down the drain. Look at her response and her perspective and her reaction, and look at his. So that this sense of self-sabotage, this correlation with this negativity to success, equating success with attack, rejection, abandonment, is keeping you in this lack mindset where you feel, look, anxious, maybe drinking yourself and drugging yourself to death, feeling you don't have enough money, life escapes you, you can't get anywhere, you self-sabotage. They're both in the same exact predicament, but look, he's going crazy, and look, she came up with a little string to grab her little coin. He could have done the same thing. And then I love the way spirit is just a bomb. We was talking about going back to your inner child or going back to that timeline, right? This is an older man and this is a young girl in this picture. And what is she doing? She created a line, a string with the magnet to it to then go down and grab her coin and pull it back up. And that's what they're saying to you. This is the enlightenment. You have the power to go back, to travel back in time, like this little girl, to grab that coin, to grab your pentacles, damn it, to grab your success, your idea, to restore that ideology. Or destroy that lack mentality ideology and restore your rightful place, which is that of abundance. To not have to live like this in fear and anxiety and, oh, woe is me. Oh, the world doesn't work for me. Life isn't fair for me. Everything goes my way. Look, this is what this man is acting upon. They're in the same fucking boat, dog. And she's come up with a plan and she's getting her coin. And he's sitting there all stressed out. Woe is me. In the pity party up here, drinking. And down here, stressing. It goes to show you the power of perspective. You do have a choice as how to you choose to look at yourself, as situations in your life, as circumstances that come up. You have the choice to look at it as it's the fucking worst thing in the world and there's no way out. Or no, damn it, there's a way out of this, and this may be a lesson, this may be a good thing, this doesn't, you know, you have to like look at where does your autopilot go to, because some of us, our autopilot automatically goes to negative, and that's on autopilot. Man, break the fucking autopilot, break the level of autopilot. And say, no, I'm not letting it go auto shit no more. I'm going to handle it manually myself. You ever had to like do something with your phone and it says, or with this computer software, it says, do you want us to do it for you automatically, or will you go in and manually do it? Yeah, for this, you have to manually go in and do it because your autopilot is set to some default that's leading you down some bullshit, a pessimistic road. The treasure chest is here. The coins are there for the taking. She's opting to get a string to get him. He's opting to be stressed the fuck out and drink himself to death. They both looking at the same drain. Okay, heard that. That's that on that one. Then they wanted me to bring this deck out. And now let's see what spirit and my ancestors want to, how they further want to enlighten us, right? How further, I'm hearing, illuminate us as to this issue. And the beautiful thing I love about my ancestors and about spirit is, you know how some people tell you, what you should be doing, but they don't never tell you the step-by-step process of how to do it. That's frustrating as hell. How you gonna sit there and tell me what I need to, what I should be doing, but then you don't even teach me how to do it? No, I need to know how to do it. And I love that about these messages. These messages, as long as I've been doing them, they give you the theory, but spirit also wants to give you the praxis, the practical step-by-step, what you can do to correct, restructure, redirect, whatever, right? Restore, attain that which you need. I'm hearing to succeed. Bars. Let's see. Thank you, Spirit. Right away. Understanding. Look at that. Understanding. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. My my R&B mind when is automatically heard that song by is it SW? What I need from you is understanding. No, it's not SW. Is it SW? Well, I'm thinking of Tiny and Tiana. Anyway, what I need from you is understanding is what I heard. How can we communicate if you don't hear what I say? Interesting. So maybe it's something about those lyrics. That one of the practical steps is to understand the situation, understand, and look at this, not for nothing. These birds are up and flying. This one is stuck right here at the cage. The cage is in the cage, but there's no barrier. There's no bars in front of it. It can leave the cage and go fly with the rest of the birds. It's sitting there. It reminds me of my dog, and 2 more came out. Well, no, 3 more. And I'm hearing keep all 3 of them. But just for a minute there, I remember I had a pit bull. And the pit bull was trained to stay in the basement. And, I'm hearing Pavlov's law of conditioning, right? But the pit bull was so trained to stay in the basement that when we attempted to bring him up the stairs out the basement, King wouldn't come up for nothing. We would beg, we would plead. He would begin to wag his little tail, and you could tell he wanted to come up them steps so bad because he's seeing us at the top of the steps, and we're like, come on, boy, come on, come on. And he wanted to, and every time he went to go try to touch that first step, he would recoil, he would go back because he remembered his owner teaching him not to go up those steps. Now, that's what's happened. There's been a conditioning. Here you are, there is no gate, no bars stopping you from flying out with the rest of the birds and being successful like that. Yet in your mind, you're stuck in a cage and there's no lock on the cage, dog. It's in your mind. There is no lock. There is no bars in front of you. You are as free as a bird too. But you're seeing the bars. That dog, the owner who taught him not to go up the stairs, who ingrained that in him, no longer lived here. Yet, every time he tried to touch that step to come upstairs, in his mind, he must have remembered what happened to him from that owner, because he would not come up it. We would literally have to go down the stairs, grab him, pick him up, and carry him up. Because he of himself was too afraid to touch the steps and come up because of how he was trained not to do it. And I'm telling you, the owner was no longer here. So he no longer had that prison guard, that captor, that tyrant. But it had indoctrinated him so much that in his mind, he still heard that owner and still refused to go up those steps. Think about that for a minute. You are as free as these other birds to fly, because that's what you was created for. No bird is created to sit in a cage. The wings were given to you, dang it, for a reason. If you wasn't supposed to have wings, you would have been a bug, a pig, a dog, something that don't got wings. But you was given wings because you were meant to fly. Yet you are sitting in a cage, not flying. Yet you have everything you need to fly. And nothing or no one at this point is holding you back. I get it. When you was this child, you was held back. You was a child. You depended on those adults. You had no control, no autonomy, no power. But you do have the power. Now, and the capability. You've always had it. And now you have the power and authority to exercise it to where no one can stop you but yourself. Totality. I don't know, I just heard total trust. It's like a complete, look at that. It's like, you know, I'm hearing those, you remember that exercise where they said fall back into the person behind you so you can learn to trust them, when they were doing team building exercises? Like, I know there were several employers that I, you know, that they would use that as one of the trust building exercises for us as a team. This person is like total surrender. I'm taking that leap of faith. I'm believing, and I'm just leaping and going for it in totality, all of me. You know, I just heard ain't no half stepping. That's Big Daddy Kane, y'all. I'm showing my age, but yeah, you know, I'm hearing half stepping is no longer acceptable. You can no longer sit in that energy. You can no longer sit in this cage with this, without no door, and refuse to fly. There is no gate. You are free. Fly, jump, leap. I'm hearing it's time. Yeah, look at this thunderbolt. And that's the tower, baby. And look at the tower. This is so beautiful. Where is this tower occurring? Usually a tower in tarot, we see it coming from a building, a castle, some type of outside object. This is you. The tower is happening internally. Look, within your chakras. Within your own sense of self-alignment. This is happening on the inside, baby. Beloved, do you hear me? This disruption is an internal one. But it's an internal one to give you, so that you can fly, so that you can be free, so that you can be liberated, so that you can be safe. I just heard, I just want to be successful. I just want to be. That's what your subconscious is screaming. Look at it. It's screaming, it's burning up on the inside, saying, I want to be successful so bad. And why is it that I'm not doing it? You know, I'm hearing someone say, it don't make sense. How can I be sabotaging the very thing I want so bad? And I'm hearing, don't beat yourself up. This is the conditioning that has happened. This has been a result of conditioning. And for some of us, the conditioning, kind of like that dog, was violent, was abusive. And even if it wasn't physical abuse, it was mental and emotional, right? So don't beat yourself up. And spirit is not here to beat you up. Your ancestors is not here to beat you up about this. They're here to exactly do what they said that they... I just got chills all up my back. to enlighten you and to give you the practical steps and to tell you you have the power to heal this and to move forward, and that they will help you. Look at this. Oh my God, I can't make this up. Yo, you cannot change. Now I'm hearing change is going to come. That song by Otis. Change is going to come. I was born by the river. Yeah, man. Change is going to come. This is what this is about. You have to leap in totally. There's no more, I'm hearing all of you, all of me wants all of you, all your curves and all your edges. And that's not you singing that to nobody else, not no chick or no dude. That's you singing that to yourself. Listen, look at it. Look at this tower. That's your inside, your subconscious, your unconscious self singing to your conscious self. That is your inner child singing to your higher self, to you. And I just heard like the CoverGirl commercial. I just heard, because you're worth it. So for some of you, you may believe, that you're not worthy, that you're not worth, such change, that you're not worth being successful. And that is a lie from the pits of hell, I'm hearing. That is a lie. Again, back to cognitive behavioral therapy. It's about restructuring, right? It's about to, even if you take a piece of paper and write, what is the belief? The belief is ... What is the lie? This is the lie. Now we identify the lie. Then what is the truth statement? This is the false statement. What is it? The false statement. I'm trying to think of course, I mean, any other time I think of a whole bunch of false statements that I say to myself, but, when you make a mistake and you say, I'm so stupid. That's the false statement. You are not stupid. You are a human being that makes mistakes, because that's what happens when we're first trying something out. So you have to replace that, I'm stupid, call it what it is, that's a false statement, and then write what is the truth statement. No, I made a mistake, but thank goodness I learned now a valuable lesson from it. That does not mean that I as a person am stupid. I committed maybe an act that could be classified as stupid, but that does not equate that I am stupid. There's a big difference in that. So the false statement is I am stupid, and the true statement is no, I committed an act that could be viewed as stupid by some, but in actuality it was a mistake. I never knew that before, and now that was an opportunity for me to learn and grow. That's the truth. But if you stay stuck in the false, you'll call yourself stupid. You see how that works? And you have the power to do this. You have, and think about it. Again, see, this is why the body here is saying is baby, listen. We can pray to spirit. We can ask our ancestors to help us. We can go to psychologists, to therapists. We can do a whole lot of things. But at the end of the day, the ball is still in your court. You're going to have to do the work. You cannot bypass the work. It's just not going to happen that way. It doesn't happen that way. You will have to do, as Carl Jung would say, the shadow work, to get in and begin to talk to your unconscious self, to get into those different points, to address them, and to heal them. What else, Spirit? And again, I apologize. I don't, if it sounds like I'm trying to tell you what to do or be preachy. Again, this is spirit. This is the messages that I am receiving. Everyone here, is, including me, has free will. You don't have to do anything. You know what I mean? A change in the wind. Look at this. Yo, you see me shuffle? You see me? You seen the car fly? A change, and look, that's the direction, right? I don't know, for some of you, I'm hearing go look up the zebra. I'm hearing no zebra has the same stripes, so there's something about your uniqueness. Again, the sense of authenticity. There's literally a face here holding up this carousel. Yeah, I'm hearing your spirit is ready. You are ready to embark on this. And this is a zebra, and they're carrying this person in this carousel. You're ready to move forward, to go in a different direction. You understand that this behavior and this mind, this thought process that has you equating success as something negative is no bueno. And now you're changing the direction of that. And then I don't believe it's a coincidence that it's saying a change in the wind. We associate wind with air. Air is associated with communication, with swords, with truth, with clarity, with precision, right? When something is precise, detail oriented. And I believe the biggest change is happening internally. And that's beautiful, because if it happens internally, then the next step is for it to reflect outwardly. Because my thoughts, if I change my thoughts changes my behaviors and my actions. And if I change my behaviors and my actions, then I'm changing my life. I'm changing the trajectory of my life. What else, Spirit? Thank you. What else? Building blocks. Look at that. Yes. Right? And I just heard, like, I don't know, I just saw these as like DNA or atoms or whatever, like building block. Yeah, the building blocks, I guess, yeah, I'm looking at DNA, the chromosomes, what do you call those? I'm seeing them intertwined. We see the DNA, the stackable building blocks that make up who we are, that we get from our parents, Anyway, we're building new blocks. Now I'm seeing, what is it, Qbert, when he's jumping on the, right? But, excuse me, for some, we're literally deconstructing these blocks and building new ones. Based on that change in the wind, right? Based on tapping into that information and having a new conversation with that inner child, or that inner aspect of us during that timeline. One more, Spirit. One more, Spirit. Yeah, and I'm hearing this is powerful. This is bigger than you. This redirection, this rediscovery, this building of these blocks now is for future generations to come. You're changing the trajectory in your lineage. It is that deep, that beautiful. One more, please, and thank you, Spirit. One more, please, and thank you. One more, Spirit. Please and thank you. That's your time with this. 3. Here we go. The why. Right? Intriguing. The question is why, and she's about to pick up this book. Who had the book? And this book has wings. I just heard Red Bull. Yeah, although I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't. And I said that while I'm doing it, right? Interesting. Got jokes, but no, I don't promote that, those kind of drinks. So, but that's what I heard the commercial. It gives you wings. This book, so I'm hearing two things. You will read a book, or you will come across, right, since we talked about air changing the wind, some type of communication that possibly through some type of book or text that will illuminate you to the point that will allow you or give you exactly what you need to be able to fly again, to liberate yourself, right? But I'm also then understanding now we're going into Akashic Records. You're an open book. You're becoming an open book, and your introspection of yourself is to enlighten yourself about, what it is in your Akashic Records or in your book of self, your book of life that you need to free and finally, get this liberation, because now I'm seeing as this bird being stuck and crouched in this book. What will be freeing? Because now I'm hearing certain books have certain rules and regulations, and we're bound to that, right? Just like that. So now I'm hearing, for some of us, the indoctrination is societal, it's familial, and if you don't operate in that way, then you're not following the rules. You're not going by the book. But no, this book, particularly in this context, has imprisoned your sense of self and liberation. Right? We don't want that. We don't want that. The bottom of the deck, to be fair. Justice. And there's wisdom. And again, I need to make sure I say this. Whenever I see these pennants, or flags flying, for me that represents ancestors all the way. All the way. They're assisting you all the way. Right? Because the ultimate objective is this sense of justice, this balancing of the scales, this equilibrium within oneself, right? Right? For this ultimate objective, which is wholeness, I'm hearing. So sorry about that, guys. I'm just thinking, it's an hour in. I am tired. Is there another deck or yeah? Well, no. It's this one. I do apologize, guys. I'm just trying to be obedient to spirit, right? I'm just trying to be obedient to spirit. I'm not going to lie, though. I got tired. I am filming this during the day. Today is the is the 17th, and we're experiencing the lunar eclipse. And one of the things that I shared with my son earlier was that and look, the night music just came on. Yeah, that I shared with my son earlier was that I felt tired. That this and I had just drunk caffeine, a cup of coffee, and I should have felt like, up, and and two more, spirit, and I felt tired. So there's something very yeah, I'm feeling the energy of this lunar eclipse. And one of the ways I recognized it so far has been in uh, the body. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling tired. I feel already that I'm going to get a phenomenal night's rest tonight. Interestingly enough, one more, Spirit, please and thank you. Uno más. The first card to come out, refresh. I mean, and talk about Benjamin Button, right? The Benjamin Button syndrome, when you age backwards. That's what I just heard. But again, going back to that inner child that I'm hearing, no matter what age you are, right? If you do it via that timeline, if you tap in, right? Even in the 3D world, it'll reflect. It's like I'm hearing some of you, you're going to get your youthfulness back in all aspects of what that means. Once you do this, you're tapping in, you're refreshing, right? And then again, the Pisces, these lunar eclipses and Pisces and Aquarius, all this astrological, it is about, I'm hearing, a refresh, a reset button for most of us. Some of us have just ended 20-year cycles and are commencing on new ones coming up. Some people are transitioning out of 8-year cycles, 10-year cycles, you know, it depends on the individual and the situation. So there's a refresh that is needed or that is being conducted. Then the next card that comes out, and this has been a frequent message of Spirit to me lately, is gratitude. That what is almost like the like a moth to a flame burnt by the fire. That's what I just heard. But the fuel to this energy, to this perspective, is going to be gratitude. And I'm hearing to be mindful, because without gratitude, it'll be easily, you can be easily swayed to the other side, right? To being more pessimistic. Gratitude is going to be very, very important, particularly during this new full moon. During this full moon that we're experiencing. Yeah, I'm hearing for some of you, listen straight up, give thanks. Show appreciation and gratitude. For this refresh button, for this new cycle. Literally for a second chance at life, I'm hearing for some of you. And then the third card, passion. I didn't say it, Spirit said it. This is going to ignite a sense of passion internally within you. And for many of you, it will then not only then transpire within you, but so powerful to the point that it will attract a soulmate. And I swear on everything right now, look, it looked like I'm high or something. All of this, yeah, I'm gonna have to call it a wrap. I am literally, and I feel it. It's like a heaviness. I feel the energy of this full moon. It's almost like if the full moon was right outside when I saw that Jim Carrey scene where he had to say yes to everything, where he pulled the moon closer. It's almost like it's right there, and the expansion of it, the power of it is so great that it's like lulling me to sleep, and like I'm feeling the pressure of it. It's very interesting. Again, I've noticed when I felt that before. And I'm hearing some of you are very connected to the moon cycles and the moon phases. Pay attention, study them, um, yeah, and pay attention to them. And I'm hearing, yeah, it's going to be critical for the next 2 years. And I'm hearing it would behoove those of you who have interest in astrology to immerse themselves. Thank you, Spirit, for such a beautiful message. What affirmations or words of wisdom would you give us in closing? I am not going to lie. I am dead tired, Spirit. Get your sweet ass outside. Interesting. So for some of you, maybe you've been more of a recluse and it's a hermit mode, and it's trying to tell you it's time, to let that go. Tame the shit show by finding calm in the chaos. I'm telling you, that's what that is about. And you find calm in the chaos through understanding. And I preached the other day about chaos, finding grace in the chaos. Interesting. One more, Mama. Meditate. Yo, I'm not making this shit up. Look, guys. And it goes full circle back to this enlightenment. That is going to happen as a result of this mysticism. And for many of you, this mysticism is best reflected in this via meditation. And again, is a sense of meditation. I'm hearing it's just that simple. You ain't even got to sit in that position. Sit your behind still somewhere. Tap in. Of course, always ask for love, light, peace, and direction, right? Protection. And then literally speak that out. I am speaking to so-and-so. I am going directly to that timeline. Meditate on it. And move accordingly. It will happen. And yeah, that's it, beloved. I hope it really resonated or helped someone out there. I know it has really helped me. Sorry, those glasses are just for reading. I wanted to look at the pictures. Sometimes they kind of like, I've had enough of them. But it's a lot to, I was going to say it's a lot to process, but I just heard, no, it's really not. It's really that simple. Believe in yourself. Believe that what we're telling you is the truth. Believe that you have the power and the capability to resolve this. And you can resolve it by having a spirit of gratitude, right? By tapping in to the multiverse, into different aspects of yourself, right? By understanding you are loved and protected and taken care of, right, in the interim. Yeah. So if you like this message, please hit the like button, of course, right? It's the best way to support me and to reciprocate, right? If you think this message will be helpful to somebody else, then por favor, share it, and or if you like the way the messages flow over here, subscribe. Thank you once again. I leave you with love, light, peace, and protection. Until next time, beloved. Ashe, amen, and amen.